Hello, hello, hello. That used to be a British TV comedy called Hello, hello, hello. But anyway, we want to welcome you guys to another edition of our New Jack Swing, not New Jack R&B podcast. Stevie Street, Miss J, and myself. How are you two lovely people doing today?
Howdy, pretty good.
Okay, okay. Miss J, you've just come back Sunday service, so what?
Yes. It was the Bobby Brown Sunday afternoon song that did it for me.
Okay. And for those who are tuning in, you might see Stevie's.
I've been to a wedding with that song.
That's a UK thing, right? For weddings.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then for those
it's very much
Stevie Street, he's
either a wedding cat or what's that horse racing they have in Liverpool Street? Called Aintree, when all the ladies wear hats.
Yes, Grand National.
I do it for no reason.
Yeah, it's a bit. I think it's a delay, but I'm good. Good evening, all. How are you all doing?
Yes, doing well. JL from Atlanta, welcome. Baseline G. Yes, this is an interesting album that we are reviewing today. So, just before we get into the album and all the stuff and what we're going to be doing, it's always good, and I think we haven't done this for a while, any music news, any new releases, any shows, anything to entertain our community about. Anything, Stevie?
Well, I've just got back from the States. I don't know if you want me to save that review for when Andrew and VJ come on in a few weeks, but yeah, I went to the Rock the Bells festival.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, we could probably. We can probably come back later in the week just to discuss that and really go in depth. Timmy Lee, Miss Savignon, bonjour. Okay, Colin, look at that. Colin has come from. He hadn't seen Colin in forever, but he's Good
evening,
back
Colin.
in full effect.
Is it Savignon? Mrs. Savignon.
I thought it was. Yes, we're gonna have to do another. We're gonna have to do another live and invite the community back on so we.
How have you been? How have you been, Nanny? How have you been?
Yes, I've been doing fine. Is there a delay? Because if I speak, are you hearing? It does feel
there's a delay on your
Stevie,
end.
Is it? Okay. Miss J, are you feeling a delay?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So I'm just going to, I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll just exit and come right back. And then as you guys chat.
Oh, Damien, new single out.
Oh, does he? Is that what he was singing on his Instagram recently? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, it's been. I can hear you fine. It was just Namdi that had a delay.
He said he was going to exit and come back and to still discuss.
Does it sound any better? Any better? Does it sound better? No delay?
No delay for me.
Yeah. Is there a delay for you, Stevie?
I can hear you clearly. I think there's a tiny bit of a dropout, but it doesn't matter, Namdi, seriously.
Okay. That is fine. Stevie, you were saying about Damien Hall.
Yeah, he's got a new single out. I'm sure we've all heard it from his Instagram post. I don't know how he's going to promote it because I had a look on streaming. I don't even think he's put it out on streaming yet. I'm not sure. Has anyone found it? He had his birthday, didn't he? So he celebrated his birthday and he performed it live. It's produced by your friend, is it J Hot?
J Hot, yes. J Hot, yes. I need J Hot.
Good mid up tempo R&B track. There's a vocoder in it. I think fans of 90s R&B will really like it. And Damien can sing. He's underrated, very underrated vocally, I think. Overshadowed by brother. So we never really got to hear him apart from his solo album. So
injustice. That's an injustice.
Yeah, it's definitely injustice. Miss Seven, you were saying that Homer Simpson has a cover Aaron Hall's "I Miss You" with a video. I'm just checking that out if I haven't seen that. But anyway, definitely an injustice. But it's good to see Damien. He's had this interview talking about his background, his life, and missing out on those opportunities. And yes, definitely would be good to be able to hear his new music. Okay. Deric from Minneapolis, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so on to the Bobby Forever album. Now, I wanted to read off what I read on Wikipedia, and it says that the album was recorded when Bobby Brown left New Edition's Home Again tour. I'm glad I was on that. I went to the tour. I got in early, so before he went AWOL, I got to see him with the guys. But prior to the reunion, he was supposed to play Powerline, but that role went to Tevin Campbell. That doesn't surprise me. Anyway, the album was originally entitled Bobby 2 and was supposed to be produced by Teddy Riley, P. Diddy, R. Kelly, Jimmy Jam, and Terry Lewis. And what we got were Tim and Bob, Deric DOA Allen, and who's the other person here? Gerard Bellichu. I don't know where I've seen his name before. And Derek Grant.
He's done a lot of stuff in the now. He's done a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I thought it said the Powerline thing was a rumor and it wasn't true in Wikipedia. That's what I thought I read.
No, yeah, it's just a rumor out there. No one's going to confirm or deny it. But I mean, when you think of an album that I can believe that MCA after the Bobby album would have gone for those big hitters. But did it seem a disappointment when we saw the album and the producers that were involved compared to his previous two albums that really had LA and Babyface and Teddy doing the bulk of the album, and then no LA and Babyface and no Teddy Riley on this album? Miss J, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts?
Yes, it was a disappointment for me. Yes, because you can't go. I remember him having an interview saying that we don't need Babyface in LA to do a hit. I remember him being real cocky about it, and I was like, okay, let's see. And, well, I think he was wrong. I love that little Babyface, and they were needed. Teddy Riley too. We needed Teddy.
Hey man, what about you, Stevie? What did you think of an album without Teddy and Babyface, or even Jimmy and Terry and Diddy and R. Kelly?
You've got to think of the year it came out, which was 1997. And I keep saying this about that year specifically. I always felt there was a change in R&B in 97. I didn't feel that year was the same. We'd had from 1990 right up to 96. It was just an amazing run year after year. And don't get me wrong, there was some great stuff in 97. But I think even neo soul was taking a little bit of a grip then. And I think hip hop was highly influencing R&B by then. I don't think LA and Babyface in 97 were the thing. Maybe Teddy Riley after No Diggity. Jam and Luke, they still had a sound, but I think they could have got other producers on, like, I don't know, Dark Child, Timbaland, any of the Bad Boy crew that were producing for Buffy. I just remember the album came out of nowhere for me. There didn't seem to be any pre-lead up to it saying Bobby Brown's got a new album. It just came out. And I don't think people were ready for a Bobby Brown album. You know, I'm trying to think back what was going on back then with Whitney. And there was a lot of negative press about Bobby. There was, I don't know, people were blaming Bobby for the way Whitney was at that time. That's what I do remember. So when this album dropped, I feel this album was too well received all, which is a shame. You know, there's some really good stuff on it. As we'll go through it.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think you have to remember in '97. So the Home Again album, so that was a New Edition reunion album, which was pretty good, came out in '96. They went on their tour towards the end of '96 into '97. Bobby started missing shows, got into all sorts, and he dropped off the show. And so then in the middle of the Home Again tour, he's now releasing a new album. And then also, he had those performances on Saturday Night Live and others as well. So, and then to think about it, I think Teddy was very upset with how his tracks were used on the Bobby album. He did the bulk of the work, but his album singles were third and fourth to come out. And even his fifth single was a remake by L.A. Reid. So he felt like he invested a lot and didn't get enough out of it. If we think about the music that came out in '97, my favorite Mary album, Share My World, came out in '97. Okay, we had Erykah Badu, we had Janet's Velvet Rope, but we had John B's Cool and Lax, which had They Don't Know. Okay, Casey and JoJo, but we had SWV's Release Some Tension. Joe's All That I Am, which we reviewed 2 weeks ago, came out in '97. Boyz II Men's Evolution, Next, with Rated Next. Usher's My Way album. What a contrast between what Usher did with My Way and what Bobby did with this album. And so I'm just seeing. So, and then, we had Bad Boy Family, No Way Out, that had all about the Benjamins and stuff. So you could see where music was going towards. Missy Elliott came out. Jagged Edge came out. Chico the Bard, I love that album. Long Time No See. And then we had the Soul Food soundtrack. Brian McKnight, Anytime. And I'm saying all this, guys, just to let you see what was coming out the time when this Bobby's album came out, to show you that actually his sound couldn't compete with what these were doing. So those were just a few of the albums, Mario Winans, and let me see now, and a few soundtracks, Mace, Harlem World, Mystical, and stuff. So, Stevie, when you think about the albums I listed in '97, and you compare this Forever album with those albums, did you think it stood a chance based on how it was produced?
Is he not hearing you? Oh.
It looks like Steve. Are you still there? Okay. Well,
So,
he might. Yeah, you think about it, Miss J. What are your thoughts? I mean, 97. So those are the albums.
No, they were still making good music, and I'm sorry, he left one of the best songs off of the album. Remember, I was telling you. You said you don't remember this, but
oh dear, I can't. I unfortunately,
I heard him.
Jay froze.
Okay.
Froze.
Okay, it felt like you froze, Stevie.
Yeah.
Are you back?
So I froze.
So
Who's actually freezing here?
Yeah. It's you. Yeah, Dio, you mentioned Zarnay. Yes, Zarnay and Mariah Carey's Butterfly came out in '97. Yes. So, So, Miss J, you were saying, hey, Joseph, Joseph didn't think the album got a lot of promotion. Stevie looks like he's come from vacation.
Remember, one of the best songs to me was left off the album. Remember, I was telling you that you said you went to the concert, but I saw him there. I have it queued up on YouTube. When he was on the Home Again tour, he mentioned having a new album coming out, and he sang a song called Outstanding that sampled the Gap Band music, and it was a great song. If he would have just put that out and had more songs like that, it would have been great. But he left it off. It's an amazing song. Amazing song. It fit right in with the time. But no, I don't understand what happened to it. The only thing I can find it on is YouTube in a clip from a Home Again tour.
Okay. No, I didn't hear that one. Are you back, Stevie?
He's still frozen. Do the robot, Stevie. You can hear us.
Yeah, we've just
Can
heard
you
you
hear me?
now, but is there a coincidence that you just got a new camera and it just seems as if there's a lag tonight for the first time? And he's frozen again.
Let me come back in. I'll drop
moving.
out. I come back in.
Yeah, and maybe without the camera, maybe see what happens. Go back to your old school.
He is lagging. He's lagging.
Yeah, he is lagging. Yeah. Marco, the whole album. Okay.
Let me come back.
So, guys, I would say that for this Forever album, I would say that when I listened to it the very first time, I'm like unimpressed. But if you listen to it
That's true.
continuously, it's almost like, okay, you can feel what's going on and you can get into it. But but if you stop listening to it for a couple of weeks and you start again, yes, it can have its okay. Hopeful saying did they clear the sample? So that could be
right. I was wondering, did they clear it because it's not mentioned anywhere. I want to play. Is it okay if I play it? Or no?
No, it won't work.
It's on YouTube though. It's on YouTube.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, Blood on the Dance Floor. I mean, there are elements of Blood on the Dance Floor that I did like, but this Bobby album, as I said, the main video we saw was Feelin Inside, with Whitney, and it wasn't a strong enough song for Bobby Brown, and I don't know if I guess, guys, this was Bobby married and all the stuff that was happening was coming out, and I don't know if that distracted us from the music, and we were just thinking about the soap opera, which was Bobby and Whitney at the time. So that is something to think about.
So you think that the drama at the time would have affected Bobby's album and not Whitney? Because Whitney came out with The Preacher's Wife around that time.
Yeah, but she was. Yeah, but she was. But the difference with Whitney was that Clive Davis was always able to make good music.
Okay.
He was always able to make good music for Whitney. Now, if you saw my interview with Showshock from Showshock and Colin, and he talks about how they were trying to make Heartbreak Hotel. That Whitney was just in a bad state. And it took her listening to Faith and Kelly Price that almost as she woke up and says, okay, I need to get my act together. So you could see that she was not in a great state. Colin says the up-tempo songs were so poor that they to what they were used to.
Adam, yes.
Yeah, at the end, you guys can rate the album. Yeah. Wait, was it better than King of Stage?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
King of Stage, this album. Yeah, those are the two least.
Yeah, but I would say, Joseph, the King of Stage still had Girlfriend. And I think that's a more enduring song than any song on this album. Anyone will hear Girlfriend and still say, okay, that's a jam compared to this album. So this album I don't think it has a song that would be considered a classic from a Bobby Brown classic. But anyway, Stevie, are you back?
I hope so. I've lowered the
resolution.
The definition. Lowered the definition of it to see if it works.
Okay. Well, for now it looks better and stuff. Joseph was asking, do you think the Forever album was better than King of Stage?
Yes.
Okay. That King of Stage, King of Stage had Girl Next Door and Girl Next Door. It had two memorable tracks, but I don't know if it could, if those were enough to save that album. King of Stage. That was so hard. I don't even know how I managed to finish that album. But anyway, Let's digress and let's celebrate the Forever album.
It had its moments.
One of the things Stevie...
It's had its moments. Hold on, one more thing. Look at this that I found. Look at that I found in the state. Has anybody ever seen this record from the soundtrack, Running Scared? New edition.
No.
I've never seen this before. Look at that. That is a thing of beauty, that. But it's only got
what is running? I don't even know what
four of the members on the picture.
Oh wow! What is?
Oh, Bobby must have left by then. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the song?
1986. It is. Once in a Lifetime Groove. It's a really good record as well. It's on the Running Scared soundtrack that had Michael McDonald on it. Keep forgetting. I keep forgetting. Yeah. I've never seen the film. I've never seen.
The film was Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Gregory
they were
Hines,
police officers. Yeah, it was a good film. Yeah, but it was an old film. Yeah.
They put that song on
and look at that
compilation.
Sealed copy. Sealed cassette tape of Truth. That's my attitude.
You found that?
Again. I don't even buy cassettes, but that is a thing of beauty. I had to have that. There was 3 copies. There was 3 copies as well, and the lady said we got them last week. Well, no, VJ got one, and one was cracked. One of the cases was cracked. So, but that is, how lovely is that? I'll probably never open that.
Yeah.
Oh, is it still sealed?
Yes,
it's still sealed.
Oh wow!
With the hype sticker on. Hold on.
Sweet Freedom, Stevie. Yeah.
My favorite song on there is written by Mark Gordon and Gerald Levert. That's Attitude.
Once in a Lifetime View. Okay, Katrina, welcome. Okay, from Portugal. All right, guys. So let us get into the album. But just one thing that Stevie suggested, he wanted to guess. He wanted us to write down what we think each other's number 1 album is, a song on the Forever album. So at the end, when we reveal it, we want to see if we were right.
I've written it down. What I think Namdi's and Miss J's number 1. It's in this piece of paper. I'm pretty nailed on. I think what Namdi's is. I'm guessing at Miss J's, so I am guessing.
Okay.
So forget
that. So guys, don't forget. So there were 10 songs on this album. So we're going to start. So you list down your 10 to 1 on the Forever album. So Miss J, do you want to go through what your number 10 song on the Forever album is?
It took yes, but I almost put Whitney on here.
No, you can't put the interlude. That was the 20
I almost did, because at first it was hard. Like you said, it was hard to listen to it at first. I had to listen to it a whole bunch of times for it to finally hit me that, oh, this is nice. This isn't so bad. Okay, my number 10 I have is, I didn't think it flowed very well. It was Heart and Soul.
Wow.
I thought that was a strange phrasing, or how he sang the words, or something was strange about it. It didn't flow well to me.
Okay. I thought okay. Melodic also had Heart and Soul number 10. I thought I wasn't too bad. All right. So my number 10, the least, Colin also put Heart and Soul. Timmy Lee also Heart and Soul. What is it, guys? Heart and Soul wasn't too bad. So for me, number 10 on the track album was She's All I Need. Marco. So that it's 11. No, but yeah, the first one was Nobody Knows, which was Whitney, and that's cheating. So we can't really put that one as in the list. Because that could probably be number 1, and it's a 30-second interlude. So mine is She's All I Need. It just Yeah, I didn't like it.
Very surprised, Namdi. Very surprised.
I didn't like it at all. Although I have to appreciate D.A. Allen for the work on that, but it was my least favorite.
Oh,
yes.
Marco said all of these are 11s. Am I seeing that right?
So there are 11 songs on it, but he's including Nobody Does It Better featuring Whitney, but which was just her singing that interlude. It was 30 seconds. So it is unfair to include that because that's probably the best track on the album. But anyway, Stevie, what about you? What's your number 10?
I agreed with Miss J. I had Heart and Soul at number 10. I like the production. I thought the beat was good. I like the tempo of the production. The song didn't grab me. As simple as that. That was all. I can listen to it. I don't dislike the record. I can say I like the production, the vibe of it, but it wasn't a killer song. But it's a nice album cut. It didn't offend me or anything.
Okay.
I mean, maybe his dancers were called Heart and Soul, weren't they, in the early days?
Yeah.
So maybe I thought he might have doing a song relating to that, but obviously not.
I forgot about that.
Yes, his little brother.
A good album. I put it down as a solid album filler.
Ryan says Feelin Inside was the only record he enjoyed. I think maybe that's because they pushed it and that was the only video and that you really get to see. Anyway, Miss J, what's number 9 for you?
Another one that I thought was awkwardly sang or phrased, but it had a good meaning. And y'all said I came from church today on Sunday. So yeah, Sunday afternoon is my number 9.
What?
I don't like that song, y'all. It just, if you listen to how it sounds like an amateur wrote it. Like I wrote it when I was in the 5th grade. That's nice. That's beautiful. But the singing killed it for me. Like I love the music, but the phrasing, I just couldn't take it.
Ned said Bobby lost me with this album. Okay, Colin also has Sunday Afternoon as his number 9. Stevie, also my number 9. It's Still My Thing.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I say my stuff wasn't too bad, but it wasn't one of my favorites. It was also Bobby and DOA Allen. How many did DOA do on this album? He did 1, 2, 3. He did 4. Tim and Bob did 3. And then Gerald did the others. So he said the lyrics were terrible.
Yes, they were.
So it's Still My Thing is my number 9. But yeah. But it wasn't, yeah. I think between 9 and 8 and 6, they were all similar. Anyway.
It's still my thing. At least it was catchy. It's still my thing. It was catchy.
It's still I want to know. Yeah, it had the little rap stuff in there, but that's number 9 for me. Let me see what's 8. Yes, okay, Stevie.
I went for similar to Heart and Soul, another up-tempo track that again had a good production, but I just didn't feel the song just was strong enough, and that's Give It Up. So I got Give It Up at number 9.
Wow.
I think it's produced by Bobby and his brother Tommy. It's saying here.
Give It Up was produced by Bobby, but it was that Gerald as well.
Yeah. Like I say, I like the production. I'll tell you what I like about this CD cover. There's loads of really good photographs as well. If anyone's not got the CD, it's a really nice booklet. I think they obviously spent a bit of money on the photography because there's lots of it. Got lots of pictures of him. So if you've not got it, if you see it for a couple of pounds in a shop, just buy it.
Okay.
Nobody needs a cup holder.
Miss Sevignon also put She's All I Need at number 9. Okay. Miss J, let's go to number 8 then. Solomon, I love the whole album. Been Around the World, My Place, Feeling Inside, She's All I Need. Okay. Well, Solomon is in the minority this evening, loves the whole album. Well done, Solomon.
Good.
Good, Miss J. What's your number 8?
Number 8 to me sounded like very similar musically to Waterfalls from TLC. I don't know. It just sounded like Waterfalls to me when I listened to the music. So I was expecting better lyrics. And it started off sounding like a Smokey Robinson song. People say I'm the life of the party. Happy Days. I wish I could play it. Happy Days. The beat on Happy Days sounds a lot like Waterfalls. Did you notice that, Paul?
Okay. Yeah, there were things on that I remembered. Happy Days are here again. Okay. Now, Colin put give it up for number 8. With Timmy and Melodic both put Forever at number 8. Sacrilege, guys, sacrilege.
Really?
Okay. I had for my number 8, Happy Days. Now, there's a line in the lyric that that Bobby wrote. Nothing from nothing equals nothing. Do you know where that came from?
That's a song, right?
Yeah, from what song did he sing that?
Nothing leaves nothing. Gotta have something if you want to be with me. I don't know who sings that song, but I know
No. So it was his lyric he wrote in We've Got Something in Common.
Oh. Okay.
Nothing from nothing equals nothing. So he took the same type of line. It is from We've Got Something in Common. So I can imagine him when he was sitting there and Bobby writing, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna put this down there. Nothing from nothing equals something. Nothing from nothing equals nothing. It makes sense.
No, and it's that's still from another song, though.
Yeah, but it's the lyric he had from that. It's the lyric he had from that. But that was my that was definitely my number 8 from there. I'm just trying to. Yeah, I'm just trying. Yeah, it's Happy Days are here again. Bobby, and I'm just trying to see where. But I was listening to it and feeling, definitely feeling that, man, this album definitely needed, just needed. Well, yes, it needed Babyface. It needed some heavy listing from Teddy. Unfortunately, we didn't get it from that. Anyway, Stevie, what about you?
Out of like the 3 kind of clubby up tempo tracks, I thought production wise, this track had the funk. It was my favorite production. I think what it lacked was the energy of, say, a My Prerogative or an Every Little Step. I mean, he's on this song. He's letting people know he's still out there. It's still his thing. But it wasn't a killer song, was it? It wasn't. There was just somewhat lackluster about the song. But again, I think I really like the funk of the production, the mood groove in it. But them 3 tracks have stayed at the top end of my chart, so it's still my thing. Makes number 8, but I do like it. I can play it again.
My thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised it wasn't higher for you. I thought you would have liked it.
Yeah.
I thought I would, but in terms, I'm just looking at the other songs. I thought the other songs were a lot stronger. -1, I'd say. -1 of the song, but there's another reason for that. I've got a wild card. There's one track on here that I never really listened to that has really grabbed me. It's pretty high up, but we'll get to that later.
Okay. What about number 7, Miss J?
Can I play 3 seconds? 3 seconds of something? Okay,
Go ahead.
So this song is okay. I'm gonna give it away because you already said it. Okay. Let's see. Is this? Let me take my volume on. I got this on mute.
You still have one from Billy Preston. Okay.
Okay, so this song for me, I felt like the first 3 seconds of it were. Oh, I don't think I can separate it, so I can't play it because it's gonna probably cause feedback. But She's All I Need. The first 3 seconds I have are similar to Gerald Levert's Baby Hold On to Me. Just the first 3 seconds is very similar to Baby Hold On to Me.
Okay.
She's All I Need.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. Okay. Colin and Timmy Lee both saying Happy Days. Hate whoever's rapping on it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Everyone's just putting Happy Days at number 7. Okay. So I had Happy Days at number 8. Number 7 for me. Actually, there were elements of it. The little bridge where so Sunday morning on a Sunday afternoon, and those 3 and my Betterfoot boys. Sunday. I mean, it's yeah, it's you know, I was listening to the Bobby album. So, because I was listening to this all weekend and I stopped and said, let me listen to the Bobby album. And I said, my goodness, an album that came out 5 years earlier is still much better than this. You know, you'd expect some progress. I like the fact it was just 10 tracks, but it didn't have the oomph, it didn't have the magic. It just felt like Babyface, so it just felt like yeah, I don't know how the MCA allowed this to come out without giving one or two big producers to do something. You know, he sounded amazing on one of my favorite songs on the Home Again album was You Don't Have to Worry. And I felt that Bad Boy captured the essence of how to produce Bobby in the mid 90s. So You Don't Have to Worry. I love that track. And I loved how he sang, and I loved the whole vibe from it. I think Jermaine Dupri did well when he produce them. So I felt like these producers knew how to manage a 95, a 97 Bobby. But yes, so Sunday Afternoon did not live up to You Don't Have to Worry, which came out a year earlier. So that's my number 7. Wow. Abdu says the album was produced by D.O.A. Allen and Tim and Bob. Jeff Red did some of the Feelin Inside. Yeah, the album was a contract filler. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's it. It was. Yes. Anyway, Stevie, what's your number 7?
Considering the title, well, the title of the song, I just wondering that year how happy Bobby Brown really was. Was he happy? I wasn't in his personal life, so I don't know. Considering what had gone on around those mid-90s with that reality TV show, the constant, I don't know, there seemed to be constant fallouts with his wife, a lot of drug taking. But I do like, he tried something different with this track, and it was a different sound for Bobby. And I've gone for Happy Days. It spoiled. It would have been further up for me. It's true. The rap was awful. I don't know where that rap came from. Is it? Hold on. Let me just see who's rapping on this, because it might actually
especially for 97 when you had 50 and Ja Rule, you had all Mason, had all these people around.
Rap by Irvin Fomar. I've never heard of him since. Has anyone heard of Irvin Fomar since he did his 16 bars on this record? I don't think so.
He should have gone from the BB bar.
Horrible.
He probably got a nice little check for that rap and rode off into the sunset.
What about his
the vibe of the song is nice. Yeah. I think the vibe of the track, Happy Days, is a good vibe to it. It has got like an Atlanta like deep south kind of R&B vibe to it. If he was cruising around that area at the time, probably makes perfect sense. But again, I could actually get my editing machine out, take the rap out, do a rapless version, and that'd be right then. That'd be right.
It sounded like they were trying to go for the male version of Waterfalls, because you know how Lisa comes in and raps, and I just no.
It's not a bad thing, because that was a big hit. That was a big hit, wasn't it? Waterfalls.
Yeah, it flowed well though. This one didn't.
I wasn't a fan of Waterfalls, I'll be honest. I wasn't a big fan of Waterfalls, but if I was in Atlanta at the time, it would have made more sense, I think.
Yes. Anyway, I don't want to get controversial, but I wasn't. Yeah, that was not one of my favorite tracks when that came out. It felt depressed. Maybe the video, but it felt depressing, sounded depressing. So,
I mean, certain sounds make more sense in the area that it's from, and I think, like say, Oasis are from Manchester. You know, I'm not a fan of Oasis, but I can understand why a lot of Mancunians love Oasis. Whereas I don't know, when there was the Jermaine Dupri So Deaf bass sound, which came out of Miami, then filtered over into the South. I mean, I remember being over there in the 90s, and I wasn't a fan of that sound until I heard it over there, and it just made more sense. You know, like Outkast, they weren't a fan of them, but again, being over there, that deep south sound just it's sunny. You know, the places that I'm looking at fit with the actual sound. So, yeah.
Yeah. B Print was saying MCA wanted to capitalize on the Home Again albums. Also, Bobby fell out with the group again. Yeah, I mean, I think, who was it that mentioned this? Marco talked about the movie, and if you get to watch the Bobby movie, it does fill us in with a lot of stuff that and kind of makes sense of where he was at and stuff. At this time around, corporates were buying up record labels. Yeah, but MCA was still there, still putting out a few albums, but just Bobby was just not in a great place, and I don't know how he did this album. Anyway, Miss J, number 6 for you.
Number 6. I chose. At first, I hated the song when I first listened to it, but somehow it made it because of the "I don't want nobody else, baby." That is Around the World. It kind of reminded me of like 702 when they sang "I don't really want to go." That part. That's what this.
Okay.
That part of the song, and so that
I've been around the world. I've seen a lot of.
Seen a lot of girls.
Yeah. Okay.
He only wanted her.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your first Tim and Bob track at number 6. Colin had "She's All I Need." Timmy and Melodic both put "Sunday Afternoon." I don't know if you guys are sharing the same list. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Number 6 for me was, his song in honor of his 2 former dancers, Heart and Soul, "Get Busy." Give me Heart and Soul. I thought wasn't too bad.
Really?
It wasn't. I felt. I in my head now I'm singing "Heart and Soul, Get Busy." What was that? That was from his tour. But I thought Heart and Soul wasn't too bad. It had some good stuff in there. Stevie, what did you get down for your number 6?
I felt these two songs on the album lyrically that completely relate to him and are completely believable about his life. This is one of them, and it's at number 6, and it's been around the world. Has he been around the world by 1996? Yeah, he has. He's been around. Yes. Had he seen many ladies? Yep, he probably has. Is he now happy that he's found the person that he's with, Whitney? Probably, yeah. I can believe that. At the time he's dating probably one of the greatest female R&B singers of all time. So he's been around the world, he's seen ladies, and now he's found his lady. That's you can believe what he's singing about there. I think the snare beat, the production in the track, the snare beat's a bit too heavy now. So I'm being really geeky there, but I do like the record. I do like the track. It was a 6-7 out of song for me, 6.5, 7. Not an absolute, but I like the vibe. But I do believe what he's singing about. So it's number 6 as well.
He did all that. Yeah. He's been he did get to list all his kids towards the end of on a Sunday afternoon. So he had been around the world. Okay, let's say we're going to the top 5 now. Hey, Tim Beat, welcome. Cyber Entertainment, what's up?
Only because it's catchy. Because this was, I believe somebody in the comments was when they said they're all 11s. I think they meant they were not on the top 10 list. That's what I think. Yeah, I put "Just Give Me Your Love, Give It Up" on here for number 5, only because it's catchy.
Okay.
There's not much else I can say about these songs. This song.
Okay. Yes, okay, Colin had Still My Thing. Being Around World with Timmy. So Timmy, yes. She's All I Need. So Shy Boy said he engineered the album. Stevie, do you have in the comment the credit to engineer the album? The Shy Boy Entertainment said
Let me have a look. It said mastered by Tom Coyne. That's mastering, though. I don't know. Do you credit mastering as engineering?
No, it should have recording engineer and mixing.
No, just mastered. I'd assume executive producers Bobby, Tommy, and Jeff Red. Did he mix the album, though? Did Tom Coyne mix the album? I'm not so sure. Maybe he left it to the producers.
Yeah, Shy, which tracks did you engineer? Still My Thing. I thought it would be never released. I look it up. Okay. Anyway, so number 5 for me. Yeah, so number 5 for me was I guess going through these tracks. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. So Sean Davis recorded and mixed. Can you see him on there? He mastered it.
Ah, right.
Yes, recorded and mixed. Okay, all the DOA Allen songs. So if you think of Sunday Afternoon, Happy Days, and
recorded and mixed by Sean Shy Boy Davis, whoever he was.
That's it. That's him here. Yep. So that's Shy Boy Davis.
Oh, he's joined us.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He was saying that he mixed it.
Good evening to Shy Boy, Mr. Shy Boy Davis. To his credit, the mix and mastering on this album is top notch. It is. I can't really fault it.
Yeah. Sean, do you want to briefly? Do you want to come on and just tell us what it was like if you were in the studio with Bobby during this time? Because it would be interesting. So if you just want to quickly come in and talk to us briefly, what it was like recording Bobby at this time, because I forgot to ask both Tim and Bob when I interviewed them, because they'd done so many stuff that I forgot that I didn't realize they did the Bobby this album, because I never even heard it until I've interviewed them. So I would have asked them what it was like interviewed recording Bobby. But I think Tim says that it took them almost a year to finish songs with Bobby, because he was all over the place. So I'll be interested to hear if Sean's going to come on and stuff. So I've just sent Sean the link. If he can come on up, that would be great. But yeah, Feelin Inside was my number 5. I think at the beginning I thought, okay, that would be that wouldn't have been a bad track, but it just didn't have the staying power, and there was a lot more that we expected from Bobby, especially as a lead single and stuff. Yeah. So that was so Feelin Inside number 5 for me. Stevie,
you got the main single at number 5.
Yes, Feelin Inside at number 5.
I thought you'd have it slightly higher than that, but it's in the top 5.
Yeah, it's number 5. Yeah, Shaba, I just sent you the link. If you click on it and join in, it would be great. So you can tell us briefly
Send
about
it
what
again.
it was like.
Send it again so he sees it at the top of the messages. He's probably missed it.
Yeah, but but anyway, but yeah, I just think it was there were some other songs that I really he went to visit overseas for some time. He would work on the music. He would work on the music on the backgrounds without him. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, but Bobby was. I think everyone should have to, when you watch the Bobby movie, you can be a lot more sympathetic to what was going on for him during that time. That kind of makes sense. Anyway, Stevie, what's your number 5?
I thought there was some exceptional background vocals on this record, as there were on quite a lot of the tracks. Actually, I think the background vocals really made the album.
On 3 tracks.
So, who was on backing vocals on this? Bobby Brown, Tonya Bolden, and Deric DOA. She's All I Need is at my number 5. It's very stripped back, quite a sensitive song. I think it's a grower, but I think it's a very strong record, and it has made my top 5.
Let me try and listen to it again because I didn't like it.
It's probably because it's not got a beat in it. It's very like the melodies and the flow. You're getting that, and you're getting the backing vocals, but he's listening away there. I'm surprised you two didn't have this higher. Very surprised.
Oh yeah, she's.
I thought you'd have really took.
No, yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, I remember. No, I didn't. I just felt it was slow. I was like, no, man. I wasn't.
Okay.
John and I got Okay. Okay. So that's your number 5.
Nambi, were you just listening to that song from the very beginning?
Yeah. I just wanted to read because when he had it number 5, I'm thinking, wait, let me listen to "She's All I Need" again, so I could be sure that I knew why I put it at number 10, and it made sense why I put it at number 10. Yeah. Chimby said he never heard this album before. You know what? I would tell you that I hadn't heard this album until probably the last 3 years. Actually, I think, Jimmy, I listened to this album. There was a time we did. What did we do? We did a top 10 Bobby album, and we had to have a song in all the albums, and that was the first time I listened to it. Yeah, I recorded all the background vocals. I did 1 or 2 songs. Okay.
Hey, don't do yourself down, fella. You know, the work on this album is really good.
Yeah. Okay. Miss J, number 4.
Number 4. I'm looking at the titles of these songs, and it looks. The order of the things I put for the better ones are titles of My Place. My Place is my number 4. I put it there because it was one of the catchier songs of the 10.
Okay. I would Colin put "Being Around the World" at number 4, and I'll have to agree with Colin with "Being Around the World." I've been around the world, and that's my first Tim and Bob stuff. I didn't think he sounded great. I don't think he sounded great on it. But as I said, we now know how he was. He loved that song because Whitney, everyone would leave the control room but me, Bobby, and he would play it to her over the piano. She's all I need.
Makes sense, that. Makes sense.
Goodness. All right, not a problem. Stevie, what's your number 4?
Just a shameless plug for my YouTube channel. I've got a video that I uploaded on my trip to New York. We did a lot of record shop hunting in Brooklyn, in Lower East Side, and you'll see me the moment that Mandeep found this record in my shopping trip to New York. If you can go, I've reignited my YouTube channel. Give it a like, please. Give it a comment. It's called Record Shopping in New York, so please check it out. Give it a like.
Yes, but what's your channel's name? So is it Stevie
Street? Should be at Stevie Street _ I think.
Okay. So yes, I'm gonna paste it in there. But so if you guys are watching, to follow, like, and subscribe at Stevie's stuff. You guys should review Free by the Party. Teddy Riley worked on that album. Okay. Okay.
Number 4 is My Place. I went for My Place at number 4. To My Place, a good quiet storm, like pump and grind slow jam. I thought, it got me that record. Was that a Tim and Bob record?
Tim and Bob one, yes.
Yeah, that was quite strong.
So me and Stevie have the same number 4.
Yeah, that could have been a single. That that could have been a single. My Place.
Okay, that's a number 4.
I can't find the credits. Where's the credits? Here we go. Tim and Bob, who's on backing vocals? Deric Boo Boo Cuthbreath, whoever he is. Rhodes on it. Now that's a strong track. That is a. But
you put that at number 4.
Yeah, again, it's that's a strong track.
Okay. Could be,
Miss J had it at number 4. She rates it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So 9th place is nice. Yes. So I would think, by the time, I would think that by the time we get to our top 3, we have to probably. How do we? Okay, we you've all written down what we thought the number 1 song is, so that's fine. Okay, Miss J, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Still My Thing. I put It's Still My Thing at number 3.
Oh, okay.
Good.
I liked. It had better energy to me. I could visualize him doing his squat pump that he's famous for, and dancing on that one.
Yeah, I think. But who did the? Who was the rapper on that?
It's Still My Thing.
Who was the female rapper on that?
It kind of sounded like Queen Pen, but I didn't look it up to see if it was her.
Let's have a look. Rap by Carol Brown. So he's keeping it in the family.
Oh, his sister. That was his sister, Carol? Mm. Wow.
Okay. Timmy Lee had My Place and Colin had Feelin Inside. Melodic had Give It Up. He liked the bass. Okay, so that's number 3. So that's his sister. I didn't realize that was his sister. All right.
Me neither. That was amazing to be his sister Carol. Wow.
Okay. Now for me, I would say that number 3 for me should have been the lead single. It could have done with a Teddy Riley remix, or from from somebody from the Future team remixing this, and I think it would have given it what it needed, and that is Give It Up. There was something I loved the vocoder in there, and I felt it was like an attempt to capture Teddy.
Yep.
But it just didn't have the oomph that it needed to just take it. But it was the closest to it. But it's almost as if, let's just do Teddy as how Teddy would do it. But without the oomph, it just lacked it. But there was something in there that I felt captured the essence of Bobby when he's singing in a sort of in his lazy style and everything. And I think he says "Ghost, I'm out of here" in it as well towards the end. Just give it a love, Bobby. It was. It was just like, okay, this is a poor man's Teddy. A poor man's Teddy. When it's like, okay, we can't get Teddy, but let's just try and sound like Teddy as much as we can. So that was. But I felt that was as close as they could. So Give It Up. It was definitely my number 3. All right, Stevie.
I was talking earlier about my wild card entry. This was a song that I never listened to at the time on the album. I was just surprised when I listened back this week, going over and over the album. And again, it's when I was saying earlier about these two songs that I find very believable. I believe this song as well. I think he's summing up his stress in this song and what he does to get away from being stressed out by people. And he just does something very simple with his family. Miss J alluded to the verses of this a bit earlier on, saying they weren't very strong. And I totally agree. I think the verses on this song could have been rewritten. However, I do feel the production is strong. I think there's a great vibe on the production. I love the chorus, and I love, again, the backing vocals are amazing on this. But he could have sang and rewrote those verses a lot better. But my wild card, and I'm really enjoying this at the moment, is Sunday Afternoon. I've surprised myself by putting this. I just think what a great, son just chilling with the kids in the park, totally relatable song, and a wild card. Maybe it shouldn't be that high up, but I put it in there because I've been enjoying it all week. So there you go.
Musically,
give it another listen. Give it another listen. That song.
Sunday Afternoon. It's a nice. Yeah, Shy Boy, did you guys do that? Shy Boy, that was D.O.A. Allen, Sunday Afternoon.
And it does say at the beginning, if you listen right at the beginning, it says it remixed D.O.A. Allen. So there's another version of it as well. That's actually the remix. And I didn't realize that back then either. So there's obviously another version of this record that sounds totally different. So maybe they were looking at this as a single. Yeah. Right at the beginning it says DOA remix.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Okay. So that's your wild card there, number 3. Okay.
My wild card entry.
All right, top 2.
Stevie, do you have some of the outtakes of this album? You know how you have like...
No,
you don't have Outstanding? Have you heard Outstanding that was supposed to be on here?
No.
Oh, God, it's so good.
Oh, you're going to have to send me that if you haven't, Miss J.
It's on a... I'll send it to you. It's the whole concert, though, but he included it on it.
All
so
right,
I'll send it to you.
So this is really interesting. So Happy Days was a tribute to his sister's fiance who passed away in Boston during the shooting incident.
Oh, in the car, the one they put in the movie. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. No, I asked if you you engineered Sunday Afternoon. On a Sunday afternoon. Yeah. All right. Top 2.
Since he's here, I have a question about Outstanding. What happened to it, and did he master that song? Like, did it not make? What was someone saying? Did it not get clearance for the song Outstanding?
Was it an original song or was it a cover version of the Gap Band, Miss J?
It was original lyrics. They just sampled the Gap Band.
Okay.
But great song. Oh, he didn't record Outstanding. Okay.
Okay.
Good song.
Bobby Brown Outstanding. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it says here that Sean Shy Boy actually mixed Sunday Afternoon. Well, and I got to say, Sean, that record, amazing production, backing vocals, everything. Just like you say, they just could have made the verses a lot stronger. Could have made the verses a lot stronger.
All right. Top 2. Miss J, what's your number 2?
Number 2, my favorite female vocalist was in the video for this as the psychiatrist, the therapist.
I was thinking they only had one video, so there could only be one song.
And that's Feelin Inside.
Get it. And if you see him perform that song on any of these shows, he just wasn't in the right space.
For Feelin Inside?
Yeah. He did it. He recorded it for, I think, the Chris Rock show or something like that. Or Rosie O'Donnell show. Okay. Yes. Okay. Timmy had to give it up and Melodic had been around the world. All right. Number 2 for me is Let me see what I have it there. Would it be out of place for you and I to get together at my place? Just you and me. This was, classic Tim and Bob. I don't know who, and with Tim and Bob, it's always about the vocals. Think about all the tracks they start to do, like They Don't Know, and what's the name with the Case one? Is it what's that? Missing You, man, missing you, and all the Bobby V stuff. Tim and Bob, they were just from the 90s when it came to slow jams and vibes. They were just on another planet. They were inspired by Jimmy and Terry, but they did some stuff for Bobby on this one, and My Place was just, I love that. And I love the background and the vocals. So yes, Tim and Bob were brilliant, and I will get Tim back on to talk about what he felt like recording this stuff. But that's My Place is number two. Shaba, if you get to watch my 3-hour interview with D.O.A. Allen, probably one of the best storytellers ever.
Great interview, that.
When he talks about when he first, when D.O.A. Allen, if anyone doesn't know D.O.A. Allen, he did College Girl for the Bobby album. He actually did 2 tracks, College Girl, and he did a duet with Bobby and Whitney, which didn't make any of the albums, and he has the stuff at home which he hasn't released. But he didn't realize that Bobby was dating Whitney, and he thought, and Bobby was like, "Yeah, I want to go get my girl." And he says, "Who's your girl?" He said, "Whitney." He says, "You ain't dating no Whitney. How do you you ain't dating no Whitney?" And then when Whitney shows up to record, he was shocked. He said, "Okay, what am I supposed to do?" She said, "No, just tell me what to do." And he was like, "But what you're Whitney Houston." So, and D.O.A. hadn't produced anyone. His first track he ever wrote and produced was College Girl. So I implore you guys, if you've not watched the D.O.A. Allen interview, he'll crack you up. But it got emotional when he talked about when he was so poor that they'd walk in the park and look for leftover hot dogs to eat. I mean, yeah. So the whole being on the River Nations tour, that so he all the work he did with Kem and all that stuff. But anyway, I digress. Okay, Shaiba has watched it. He hooked me up. D.O.A. Allen, much respect for him. Okay. I had number 2, My Place. Stevie, what's your number 2?
If I was to do a DJ mix now, I could mix this record because it's got a very mid-tempo head bob vibe to it. I could definitely mix this in with New Edition, Hit Me Off, and also Blackstreet, No Diggity, and maybe even that, what's that 2-pack record called around the same year with Aaron Hall on it? Toss It Up. That was it.
Toss It Up. Yeah.
And I think I'd throw this in at the end of it, but I realised nearly 27 years on, came out in 96. Yeah, nearly 20 odd years on. This sounds great now because the production, what's in the production, there's nothing really dated there's nothing, it has stood the test of time. There's nothing in the beats or the drums that make it sound dated. I like the video as well. I replayed the video. I think the video looks great. I think he looks good in it as well. I was surprised, but Feelin Inside, the single, has made number 2 for me.
Wow.
Really enjoyed it. It's been yeah. It's great. It's a great single. I wish I'd have played it a bit more back then. I remember I was DJing, warming up in a club at the time, and MCA, the label in the UK, sent out promo vinyl. I've got my promo vinyls of it. I didn't think the remixes were that hot. There was some Marley Marl remix, Mr. Dalvin, but I think the album mix is the strongest mix. And it sounds weird. I wish I'd have played it a bit more now, looking back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mr. Dalvin remix wasn't great?
I can't really remember the mixes. There's also there's a midnight mix, which is on vinyl, and it's also on a promo CD single. And I bet that's a good mix. I've got a feeling that's more of a Quiet Storm mix, but yeah, Feelin Inside, I think it mixes well with those other mid-tempo like New Edition, Hit Me Off. There was a sound in 96, very similar sound that got played in the clubs, that head bobbing dun, bum, sound. So I think it'd do well with that in a set. I think they definitely aimed when they made that single. I think they were looking at No Diggity and what was the other track I mentioned? Hit Me Off. I think they had that sound in mind. I do think the whole album in general has a 1996 vibe to it, but that's just my opinion. I feel like it was made in 1996. Shy Boy, when was it made? Tell me I'm wrong, please. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me it was made in 97.
So he was saying that It's Still My Thing was another version of My Prerogative and Get Away. Bobby's lyrically and message wise is still my thing. He did say it's my prerogative, right? It's still my thing. He does talk about it's my prerogative. It's just that. It's just the fact that 97 was really just the music was different. Think about what we do, Joe and other stuff. But anyway, Stevie has gone for it's Feeling Inside for number 2. All right, Miss J. Before we get to number 1, let us go through your top 10 before you release your number 1. And I've got mine. I've got my number. Who I think your number 1 is.
I think we all have the same thing. But my number 10 is Heart and Soul. 9, Sunday Afternoon. 8, Happy Days. 7, She's All I Need. 6, Around the World. 5, Just Give Me Your Love, or it's called Give It Up. 4, My Place. 3, It's Still My Thing. 2, Feeling Inside. And number 1, Forever. That was a beautiful song. That song was the best song on the album to me. It was such a beautiful song. I don't understand why that wasn't released as a single. That should have been the first single. It's beautiful.
Okay. Yes. I didn't put that down for you. So my number 10 was She's All I Need. Number 9 was It's Still My Thing. Number 8 was Happy Days. Number 7 was Sunday Afternoon. Number 6 was Heart and Soul. 5 was Feeling Inside. 4 was Being Around the World. Number 3 is Give It Up. Number 2, My Place. And this is why, for me, understanding what made Tim and Bob special. So Marco said that he's just finished watching 7 hours of Tim and Bob interview. So I interviewed Bob first for about an hour, 2.5 hours. Then I've interviewed Tim for probably 6 hours. And just to hear them talk about how they construct music and lyrically and everything, and they've got their backing singer who comes in specifically to work on their tracks, and you just feel that stuff. It's almost like they write songs to show vulnerability within men, and that's what I appreciated about them. And so for me, Forever, it's just so tender. It has that same they don't know, the same sort of missing you background type of stuff, and I felt it captured Bobby so well, and I love the song. I could just listen. So for me, the 3 Tim and Bob songs were the best on the album. I think the DOA Allen songs were really fun cookout type of tracks. but I just think about what Tim and Bob were doing and how they were just dominating. So Forever is my number one song on that album. And this is the first time I've heard a song entitled Forever that's really that good. And here's a trivial question for you. There were 3 albums in the 90s that were titled Forever that bombed. Can you name the 3 albums? So, well, one of them is the Forever album by Bobby, but can you think about the other 2 albums that were titled Forever?
What's on the spot there, Namdi?
That didn't do as well as their predecessor.
Give us a clue with male or female artists.
I would say both of them were led by male artists. Were male.
Oh gosh. Ooh.
And
one of them is connected to Bobby in some ways.
The same year, you said, right? 97?
No. I'm not saying 97. One of them came out in 98, and the other one came out probably 98, 99.
I'm thinking Brian McKnight. Was Brian McKnight one of them?
No. Okay. So Blackstreet. Yep. So melodic ditties.
Yeah, of course.
So Diddy's album his second album was called Forever, which bombed compared to the Family. And Blackstreet's their third album was Forever. And that also bombed. What was it? Was it not Finally? Oh, so that was called Finally. So that was my mistake. Sorry. That was Finally. But the Diddy Forever album bombed and stuff like that. So I messed up with the Blackstreet one. Blackstreet was called Finally. But it was one of those like Forever, Finally, and that bombed as well. But anyway, this was my best song I've ever heard called Forever. So Stevie, and unfortunately, Miss J, I thought that you had my place at number 1. So I messed that up. So Stevie,
I got you right. I guess
you got me right. Okay. Stevie, let's go from 10 to 1, and then we'll see what we both put for you.
I had Heart and Soul at number 10. I had Give It Up at number 9. Number 8, It's Still My Thing. Number 7, Happy Days. Number 6, Been Around the World. Number 5, She's All I Need. Number 4, My Place. Number 3, Sunday Afternoon. Number 2, Feelin Inside. And my number 1, I think when I listened to it again this week, I felt it this is the start, and it's also got the remnants of To Me As I'm So Into You in it. If you really listen to it, I think this is where they were developing that single, that sound, the way it came in, because we all know that To Me a track is a classic. I think this record is an absolute gem. I think it is the most outstanding track on the album. You know, and it's the one reason you should get this album for this track. But if you do like To Me As I'm So Into You and you've never heard this, you will love this. And we've all got a triple number 1 for a change. So Forever's my number 1.
Yes. Yeah.
That's rare.
It would have been really. Yeah, sorry, Steve. I thought you'd have Give It Up because you sometimes go left field. I thought you'd like Give It Up.
I thought you were like, It's Still My Thing.
You put this. Okay, we all see all thoughts.
Wow.
Yeah. What did you have for us then, Stevie?
I had Forever at number 1 for you, Namdi. Miss J. What did I put for Miss J? I may have crossed the line here, Miss J.
What did you think I had?
I may have crossed the line again, but I had She's All I Need at number 5. Sometimes you got to cross the line. Sometimes you have to. Anyway,
Colin says.
What did you rate out of 10? The album, Nandy?
If I listen to it, if it's just to get the album, listen to it the very first time, I would give it a 5. And And that's just because Forever was such a powerful track that I would just like listen for that. But it's the kind of album that you probably need to listen to 3 times in a row, then you start to get a hand of it. Um, and and so don't get me wrong, because I think Tim and Bob and DOA Allen did amazing tracks on this, but I think the tracks were better than Bobby didn't live up to the tracks. And I think if you were thinking about Bobby Brown, there's that you expect more, and because he didn't deliver more, and I think the tracks, if let's just say Joe sang on some of these tracks, I probably would have appreciated them better. But I think for Bobby, there's a way that Teddy and Jimmy and Ellie and Babyface knew how to get the best out of that vocal for Bobby, and I think that's why I probably scored a little bit lower. And I listened to it and I thought they had so much potential. And don't get me wrong, if they had even had Bad Boy do production on this, the same way they did on You Don't Have to Worry, which is my favorite track on the Home Again album, I think they would have captured the essence of Bobby, or even Jermaine Dupri when he was working on Usher's My Life. I think he would have done better. But if I'm comparing this to My Life or Joe's All That I Am, there's no way. You can't even put them in can't even put them in the same ballpark. But it's definitely a Teased Time album with Bobby and Documented Time. But as I said, in essence, since
what do you rate it though?
No, I said 5. I said 5.
5 out of 10. Wow.
Yeah.
So what did you rate it, Miss J?
I have 5 too.
Okay.
You're 5.
Yeah. I think there's a high standard for Bobby. So think about someone like Chris Brown, constantly comes out with hits. So there's a standard that he doesn't fall below. Usher, for a point in time, he was always on a level where he made sure his music was at a certain level, and they didn't let that standard drop. And unfortunately, with what was going on in Bobby's life, this album didn't live up to the expectations we had of Bobby. Prerogative, so the Don't Be Cruel album, and even the Bobby album, and I felt that unfortunately he let it down. So I felt bad when the album didn't do well. I blamed it on my mixes for a long time. I listened back a few years and I felt good about them. Thanks for reviewing the album, it means a lot. Hey, I mean, look, Shabba, I wouldn't blame your mixes. I think because we've seen the Bobby documentary, the Bobby movie, we understand what life was like for them, and I couldn't even imagine how they were able to even go on tour and do anything. Mm-hmm. So I don't think there was much anyone else could do in that studio. I think Teddy and Babyface would have brought nostalgia to the album, but Bobby was just not in that headspace to really deliver as much. And it wasn't just the album. He had to promote it. And he was struggling on stage. He was struggling to promote it. And that's why they just stopped promoting it. So there was not much you guys could have done. Bobby had to be in the right headspace to push and promote this album. Yeah. And everyone is saying the mixes were nice. The songs and the key of B were better than this. Yeah, I think he was just in a better space. But he just didn't have the energy, which I think would have made a massive difference. Yeah. Anyway. But guys, as Stevie says, it's worth checking out the album if you've not listened to it. And there's some really good production, really good music. And if you just don't think it's Bobby, you probably will enjoy it a little bit better. But yeah, Shara, we definitely appreciate your contributions and actually being open and honest with us, because it's really good to hear and see as well. All right, so guys, it was definitely a good album. We're not sure what we're going to bring out next week. We're going to have our consultation and then we'll let you guys know. But we definitely appreciate you guys, as always, for making up the show, for being part of this. I mean, and you just never know, guys, as you're watching, who is going to be part of it. This evening we had Shy Boy, who recorded and engineered the half the songs on the album, sharing his own experience. And yes, we know Bobby had his drug issues and stuff, which made a massive difference. But he's in a better place right now, based on his wife and his family, and that makes a massive difference. So definitely, it was definitely good to be able to have you in the Bobby Brown's masterpiece album. I don't know about that, Colin. And just in case you guys didn't realize, so Colin asked a question with to Bronny Jerkins, and I don't know if you guys saw. It was, I don't know if somebody did a sort of a mini series movie with Michael Jackson, and he was listening to Prerogative in the car, in the back of the car, or one of these tracks. So Colin asked Darkchild, "Hey, did Michael love Prerogative?" And he says he had a playlist of 10 songs that really inspired him, and Prerogative was on there. Bee Gees, how deep is your love? Always Shows Night and Day, and a few other tracks on in his playlist that he'll listen to and get inspiration. So Colin is on a roll right now. All right, guys, and a final correction. I thought that this was Bobby's final album. DJ Soulchild had told me that he had another album that came out in 2012, and let's just say that if this was his final album, he would have left us with a masterpiece compared to the 2012 album. So, have you listened to it, the 2012 album, Ms. J?
No,
we're not going to review.
No, not at all.
No, but I'm saying.
But I'm just saying that if you listen to the 2012 album, you would say that, wow, this was a masterpiece. That's how, I won't say how bad it was, but just how off the rail it was. It was almost like, yeah, let's just, yeah. Okay.
The signature, I think it was called.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, our Rascal 78, yeah, we're at the end. Shy Boy, we loved you and appreciate you as well. We need that Michael Jackson playlist. The masterpiece isn't the one. Oh, yeah, he was joking around. All right, guys. So we will, Miss J, Stevie, and I will confer and let you know what we'll review next week. But for the three of us, we appreciate you guys and we love you guys, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care. Okay, I just realized I normally have to say goodbye, but I hadn't done that yet, so I'm going to do that now. So take care, guys. Hey, guys, thanks for watching.
Goodbye.
Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between us, or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you with
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No, okay.
They understand what Jonas boys and men all
lay it.
these guys, they all work together.
I mean, I